What's going on? So Achad here, author of Wholography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline so that we're not having to do multiple disciplines. You can just do one, complete it, and not have to be out here divided and fragmented. Get your book today. You know what I'm saying? holographer.com/the-book. Yep. So I put out a poll, you know what I'm saying, through the community thing on the YouTube, and looks like, because I asked, which movies did y'all want to see a review on, and looks like Lucy won that one. So we're doing Lucy. It's a movie that came out in 2014, starring Scarlett Johansson, Morgan Freeman, Choi Min Sik. This is a sick name right there, and Amr Waked or Waked or what Wakid. Okay. Yep, that's the name. Yeah, so this is a movie that is it's a very important movie, especially for what I do. You know what I'm saying? What I'm involved in on my daily basis of what I do. Um, it's directed by Luc Besson. You know what I'm saying? It's this French director. He's also the director of The Fifth Element. For those of you that are 90s babies or grew up in the 90s, you'll know that movie. And then also the movie Leon the Professional. So he's director of that. And then also, if you're a real movie buff, you know about La Femme Nikita. You know what I'm saying? So he's the director of all those films. He also did some bull I ain't even gonna watch. It looked like it's some sort of semi quasi sequel to The Fifth Element. It's Valerian or something like that. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be. I don't know. I don't even care to look at it. We're just going, say I like those, the four movies: La Femme Nikita, The Professional, Fifth Element, and then today we're dealing with Lucy. Hello, Luce. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking with a fake English Cockney accent. Hello, Luce. You know what I'm saying? Part of me, Luce. That's Lucy on the screen. She's a white woman that turns black right in the movie. Spoiler alert. I know it's horrible if you like from England or Great Britain or somewhere. You like, this is a horrible. What the hell is this American doing? But anywho, Lucy. Now I've seen some reviews on this before. This movie, obviously, I'm pretty sure you probably have too if you've been on YouTube. But here's my rendition because I don't think nobody going to do it like me or approach it like me. So first and foremost, I've said this before. This is the most Sankofa movie you'll ever watch. Now, I've explained to people before that when we talk about Sankofa, you can deal with it on a mundane level or you can deal with it on a more esoteric level. So most of the time you're dealing with people that are dealing with Sankofa, Sankofa, on the mundane cultural level where it's all about, especially if you're indigenous or you consider black or African or whatever, it's all about you going back to your African roots as far as, like a cultural shift or a cultural returning to Africa, you know what I mean? Or, any type of African American way of doing things. Like, for example, if your family was, raised Christian or, Baptist. So for Sankofa for y'all would be, if y'all went back to doing some African spirituality, like you got into Ifa or, some Ghanaian, ancestral worship or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or Sankofa is just simply, taking trips back to Africa. It's a lot of, conscious community dudes that got that vacational setup where, y'all take a tour through Kemet or Ghana or Nigeria or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Make your money. But, you know what I'm saying? As long as they ain't out here gypping people or, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot. It's going around like people getting gypped for their money for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Watch out for them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes, like I say, I'm not here to shit on nobody's hustle, but you can't be out here doing that. You know what I mean? That's people's savings. That's people's college fund. You know what I mean? You out here being funny with the money. You know what I mean? So that's why it's not, too much out of hilarity. You know what I'm saying? When we come with the brutality and vulgarity, right? You know what I mean? Just trying to give you some bars for you to snack on and chew later. But anyway, getting back to Lucy, it's Sankofa in the sense that, it's more of an esoteric thing where you're going backwards through your own human development and going all the way back to you being all the way, to birth. Like we deal with a movie where Lucy is showing you the themes of rebirth and death and all that. Like, for example, again, spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? Part may loose. Lucy is a mule in this movie. She's nothing but a drug mule. You know what I'm saying? You shove it up her vagina, her anus, or, have her swallow it, and she can transport your product to different countries. She's part of this group where she's chosen to be a mule. Problem is, they put the drug, this synthetic drug, we're going to get to that in a minute. I ain't going to get to it right away, but they put this synthetic drug, it's surgically inserted into her stomach area, you know what I'm saying? And, one of the thugs that are trafficking her, they kick her in the stomach and it opens up that synthetic chemical in the bag, and it seeps into her system, and now she got superpowers. So now she can do all these different types of fly shit just by having this stuff leaking into her system. And then the whole movie is about, her doing with this whole thing of fulfilling her brain capacity. Like this whole thing about you're only using 10% of your brain. We're going to get into that in this live stream, man. Stick around, you know what I'm saying? But while I was sitting here outlining that is that the fact that they put the synthetic drug in her abdomen, her stomach. That's where you know what I'm saying. That's where you was at when you was in your mother's womb. You was right here in the stomach area. You know what I mean? So by her, getting kicked in her stomach and then that blue synthetic chemical leaking into her system, that's like rebirth. She's giving birth to herself. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call initiation. However, in the movie, it's artificially created because, again, it's an artificially produced drug. It's based on, like any artificial drug, is based on, a chemical that occurs naturally within your body or within, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, just within nature. Like it can be plants, it can be any animals, anything, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, you have scientists out here who reverse engineer the chemicals that, or the things that they see out in nature, reverse engineer it and then go ahead and create synthetic copies of it. You know what I'm saying? So this chemical in question is called CPH4, and it's supposed to be this hormone, I would say, that jump starts the development of a fetus within the womb. So they synthesized it and made it more powerful. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to sell this in, small amounts to people. And, what I'm saying, it's supposed to be the new hot drug on the street. You know what I'm saying? It's probably better than fentanyl. You know what I mean? Y'all better watch out for that fentanyl. That could be your last ride. You better watch out. Y'all out here, what's going on? Lux Hour, what's going on? Y'all out here with the, you know what I'm saying? With the herons and the, you know what I mean? The mollies and all that. You'll know what's fentanyl and that. Niggas dropping like flies out here. I ain't on the streets, but the streets make it to the national news, and that's how I be knowing about it. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of documentaries. Vice did a documentary on fentanyl, I think. You know what I mean? Watch out. It could also be in your marijuana. Better watch out. Pardon me, loose. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's this CPH4 and it leaks into her system. So now she goes through this artificial initiation where she goes backwards in her development. That's what you call the real Sankofa. It goes even much deeper than that, but you can't even hide it anymore, be secretive about it if it's a whole fucking movie about it. So now it's in the public. It's public information. So I'm here to sit here and speak on it if you care to listen. So that's symbolic in itself. She's going through initiation. Now, I've talked about initiation plenty of times in previous videos, and this is not some initiation where it requires, other people to be involved in it. Like it's not no ceremonial thing. It's just this synthetic chemical in large amounts leaked into her body system. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I don't know what you've been told about initiation, but This is the type of initiation that, besides it being about, the synthetic chemical, this is what you're supposed to be jump starting. You know what I'm saying? This is what you jumpstart, not artificially like the movie, but this is what the initiation kind of looks like. You know what I'm saying? Because people get, caught up in, I don't need the initiation, but this is what you're supposed to be doing. So if you haven't done that or haven't gone through a similar process such as that, no, you're not initiated. We can knuckle up about it if you know what I'm saying? We can knuckle up. You want to fight? You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't like hearing what they need to hear. They don't like hearing it because they into this fantasy of they thinking they almighty and powerful and they can deal with anything. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, and I'm gonna look straight into the eye of the camera. You come over here trying to mess with my science and you come unprepared, that's your ass. You don't come into this science unprepared. Pardon me, loose. You know what I'm saying? Said they be getting high off of Finny Lace shrooms. Yeah, it could be in anything. You know what I'm saying? It can be in anything. Like what happened to natural? What happened to natural substances? You go out into nature. You know what I'm saying? Lesbian seagull. So, from the Beavis and Butthead shit. But anyway, what happened to that? Now you're getting it from sketchy, nefarious characters. You know what I'm saying? You be dealing with weed men who don't have names for the weed they give you. They're like, I don't know, I just got it from my dealer. It's like it ain't name, like it ain't Acapulco Gold or it ain't Cotton Candy Kush. No, it's just whatever, whatever they got from the dude. You better watch out for those guys. I'm telling you, watch out there in them drug streets. But anyway, getting back to Lucy, this is it's showing you like an initiation process. And the dude, Luc Besson, the director, he's being bold in this movie by showing it to you. So he must have been given the green light by these Hollywood people to kind of give you, it's just like the first Matrix movie where they give you all these like, eye-opening ideas, you know what I'm saying? Only to kind of like shut you down towards the end of the movie or in sequels where they reverse what they were trying to do in the first movie. They wake you up and then try to put you back to sleep again. Or, give you how you should look at things. You know what I'm saying? How you should like they introduce some, secret or esoteric or revealing something about itself, but they're also giving you a way to look at it. So it's kind of like it's programs, propaganda. So it's a movie of initiation. Now, the whole thing about you using 10% of your brain, first of all, your consciousness is not exclusive to your brain. So this whole backwards idea of your flesh is responsible for fleshless or metaphysical ideas and concepts, y'all need to jump off of that. This is what I'm giving you. Jump off of that. You know what I'm saying? Hop off that. Hop off that train, that dick. You know what I'm saying? Hop off. Because what you're saying is physical things are causing non-physical things, and that's not the order of causation or operations. Metaphysical things are the cause of physical things. So that means your consciousness causes your brain. Your brain does not cause consciousness. Do you see that? Because that's a materialist philosophy to think that you are somehow generating energy. No, energy is generating you. Take advantage. Pardon me, Lucy. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage. People don't be taking advantage of stuff that's right there. This is why I came out with this whole book. You're not putting the pieces together. This teaches you how to do that. People ain't putting pieces together. They got the pile of puzzle pieces, but they never assemble it. They never do that. Be right there in their face too. So it's not even you just sitting here, oh, I'm gonna research everything in the world. I'm gonna read every book I get my hands on. It's like, no, start putting together the information you already got. You don't even be putting shit together. You just have it piled and thinking that you advanced and smart because you have it. No, start making a cohesive whole out of the pieces you have. Anyway, where did I leave for? Okay, yeah. So this whole thing about you using 10% of your brain, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, all the way up to 100%, where you are 100% of use of your brain. Not understanding that your brain in your body is not the only brain. You have a brain in your throat. You have a brain wherever you have a chakra. There you go. Because wherever you have a chakra, they align these chakras now. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I don't think is ancient. It's something real recent, like maybe in first or the last couple centuries, of them aligning the chakras with the hormone glands in every part of your body. So, for example, wherever you have that hormone gland, you got a pituitary, pineal, thyroid. I forgot the one that's right here where your heart chakra is. You got your liver, you got your testes, you know what I'm saying, your nut sack and the egg sac, you know, your ovaries for the woman. These are brains. They do the same type of shit that your regular, you know what I'm saying, your head brain does. So they're centers of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? That's the way you can look at the chakra thing, that they're centers of consciousness. And I think I've seen a review somewhere where it's talking about this is a chakra movie, but we need to go a little bit more depthly into what's really being talked about. Again, this is a Sankofa type movie, Sankofa. So you're going backwards through your development. Now, you've heard me talk about this whole thing with butterflies. It's the same type of thing. What is a butterfly? How does a butterfly become that? You have a caterpillar who, you know what I'm saying, hatches out of the egg. It eats all the leaves, all the branches, all the flowers, or whatever it eats. Then it regresses back into an egg state that you call a cocoon or a chrysalis or pupae or pupa. So it came out of an egg to go right back in one and then come out as a butterfly. So what you're talking about is a process what I like to call regenesis. Regenesis. It's another way of saying Sankofa. Regenesis, meaning that you are being reborn again. That's the true initiation. If you haven't done that, you are not initiated. I don't care what type of cultural system you have, locked yourself into, and you've done the yearly thing. You have to go through this regenerative process. That's the initiation. You're initiating your birth again. The caterpillar going back into the cocoon is regenerating itself. It's coming into birth again. Just as if it's breaking out of that chrysalis or that pupae, it's just like it breaking out of the egg. It's the second egg. So in this movie, Lucy goes into a second egg stage, second birth. Until you do that, you have not been truly initiated. You had semblances of initiation, simulations, simulacra, but the true initiation is in you being reborn truthfully again. That's what this is all about. So, them trying to sit here and reveal information to you, you know what I'm saying? But they're giving you, it's still propaganda. They're still giving you like the, surface level understanding of that rebirthing process. So she goes through it again artificially with this synthetic chemical that is found in the sixth. Hold on, what was they saying? It's in the, hold on, where is it at? The 6th week of pregnancy. So it's this chemical that the mother produces without her knowledge. She don't even know this herself. It's being produced to galvanize or perpetuate the fetal development of the baby within the womb. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be a powerful chemical for it to be able to push along or provide the power, the battery to bring a zygote, a fertilized zygote, sperm and egg union, all the way to a 9-month or 10-month-old baby coming out of the vagina or the womb. That has to be a very powerful chemical. So she takes that, and that's supposed to symbolize rebirth. You know what I mean? So as she goes through this process, even just within like the first minutes of the movie, after that chemical spills into her body, what happens? She goes all the way back to her childhood. She can remember all her memories. Can you remember every fucking single memory of your childhood? And be honest, if you were asked right now, I'm talking about every slight gesture, every movement, anything, because she was able to remember what her mom was doing while she was a baby. So that's a Sankofa thing. She went all the way back to birth. I told you this is the movie for it. It's the most Sankofa regenesis movie they ever made. They're sitting here telling you at least that part of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there is no ignoring of the process. You know what I'm saying? Lux hour. Yeah, preemptive programming. It's all, again, they reveal these things in these shows and TV, you know what I'm saying? Also gauging how the masses are going to react to it and then giving them a way of looking at it. So, for example, this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, of which Scarlett Johansson, who's the star of this movie, she's the Lucy in this movie. She's the Black Widow in uh, the um, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. So this whole thing of them doing this whole, big productions about these comic book heroes and superheroes, what they're really doing is programming you for a age of humans whose abilities are developed. So whether you're going to have super strength or you're going to have telekinetic ability, you have these things going on with you right now, but they're not developed. They're not honed. They're not disciplined enough. You got it. I know you got it. I know I got it. I fucking got it. Pardon me, loose. You know what I'm saying? But who's practicing? Who's sitting up here developing it? Who's doing that? Or would you rather have it artificially done to you, like in her, like with Lucy in this movie? You know what I'm saying? Because she's doing it again artificially. What if you learned how to do that naturally, like doing your own processes of what you're supposed to do? So the study of birth is important in this whole regenesis Sankofa thing. You know what I'm saying? Just on a surface level, because they put it in this movie. So again, I'm gonna keep saying this. If you're not going through a regenerative process on that level, you have never been truly initiated yet. You want to we can knuckle up after this? You know what I'm saying? You want to fight about it? We can knuckle up. We can square off. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that that they at least try to what I'm saying, make sure that it's kind of correct, is the fact that she's moving beyond her physical flesh or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She's moving beyond it, and she's able to do things that you know the computer can do. I make it like that. For example, my computer is connected to the World Wide Web without having to be wired to the World Wide Web. So that means it's Wi-Fi. It's picking up on radio signals on certain bandwidths or wavelengths for it to take information and then throw information back out. So for example, you're seeing me on this live stream. It's this is straight through radio waves that you're able to see me. Now, with what she's doing in the movie is being able to tap into those radio waves without artificial appliances or technology. So he's basically doing what the phone and computer can do, without having to be the phone or using a phone or a computer to do it. So she can now use telepathy. She can tap into other people's memories, thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Um, Emotions. She can do that now. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not situated just within her own physical body. Now she's in these different ranges of the electromagnetic spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't see nowhere in the movie where they were, trying to be on a supernatural level. It was more like them trying to be scientific. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be scientific, you had to be dealing with the electromagnetic spectrum and being able to read, interpret, and send out messages on, or tasks or controls on all this whole spectrum. So, for example, if she's able to tap into computer systems, she should be on the radio wave of Wi-Fi or something like that. Now, what's stopping you from doing that? Can't you do that too? Have you practiced it? Have you, done the work to do it? Because why can your phone do it and you can't? Or you don't noticing that you are doing it? Because there's people that, like I said, they're picking up on information. This is what I call data types. So, for example, if you're able to see things with your eyes and all the things that you can see with your eyes, that's a data type. Everything you can hear, a data type. Everything you can smell, taste, feel. These are you have 5 different data processing coming through in those 5 senses. But what if you have more than 5 senses? That means you have data types that you haven't been schooled on enough or practicing or bringing out of atrophy. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know how your computer can deal with, PDFs, it can deal with docx for like Microsoft Word, it can deal with WAV files, MP4, MP3, you know what I'm saying? If you have Photoshop, that's its own data type. If you have Fruity Loops, I'm just going off of the programs on my computer that I'm looking at now. That's its own data type. So now you have these different data types. Like, for example, if you're going beyond your 5 senses, now you can get into data types on the radio scale or on the microwave scale or on the UV scale or on the gamma ray scale. You see what I'm saying? So by that understanding, you just dealing with your 5 senses, you are limited in your attention span and in your perceptual capacity. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. So people that think they have these philosophical understandings, like from ancient times to now, is like, yo, you ain't even dealing with data types beyond the 5 senses. You're trying to make up what you think the world is just based on those 5 data types when there's plenty more. Do you know how to read infrared? If I started speaking to you in infrared, would you be able to understand? Because your remote control is doing that with your TV. It's sending signals through the infrared range of the spectrum to your TV to control your TV. Can you do that? Are you that? Pardon me, loose. So that's what she's able to do as she goes through this, fictional, or I'm using 90%, 80, 70, 80, 90% of my brain. It's like, no, you are coming aware of your consciousness as it truly was and always will be. So this is her waking up from this perceptual sleep that she's been in, and whatever, the rest of humanity has been in. And now she's, getting back into these closed off areas or blacked out areas of her own attention span or consciousness. This is beyond the brain. This is beyond the body. So you trying to combine this esoteric shit with this materialist philosophy, it can be confusing to the audience that's watching you, except for those who can see beyond, or see exactly what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? He said, more simply, your blood flowing and you don't have to think or direct it, but it's allowing you to properly function. Yes. So this is something I actually put on my Instagram yesterday, dealing with voluntary control over the involuntary functions of your body, mind, and consciousness. That's what the yogi is attempting to achieve. Kimosabi, grasshopper. Pardon me, loose. I hope you don't like that. I hope you do like. Excuse me. I hope you do like. I'm getting a little depthical in my, explanations and all. I hope you like it. I hope you do. Tooby do. Cheerio. I'm gonna bring up exactly what it said on my Instagram. Hold on. Because do you control your blood flow consciously? Do you control how long your hair grows and how long it, you know, is it black? You see Lucy doing that in the movie. She can change her hair color at a whim. So it's not even like on some, month by month you're changing it. No, she instantly was able to change her hair from, blonde to black or blonde or whatever hair, color she had. Yeah, so I'll put it on my Instagram. Voluntary control over involuntary functions of the body, mind, and consciousness. That's what you are, part of what you're attempting to achieve here. The ability to put yourself to sleep and wake yourself up at a whim whenever you feel like it. You can speed up or slow down your own digestive process just by thinking about it. You're aware of your dreams, and you know what I'm saying, you can still tap into it while also being here in the physical. You can do both. You see, this is where your perceptual capacity has expanded to be able to do that. This is what Lucy is doing in the movie. He said simulations getting, huh? Y'all gotta start like I don't mean to be rude. You gotta start, you know what I'm saying, proofreading your comments before you send them in. You know what I'm saying? No offense. You know what I'm saying? No offense, but you gotta start doing that. Because I'm like, I'm trying to read what you're saying and it ain't clicking. Help me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. You're talking about autonomic nervous system is a metaphysical process. Yeah, being able to, expand your perception to be able to operate on that level. Because most human beings or animals operate on the lowest form of that. That's why I say your ego is nothing but the lowest form of your attention span. So if you think about all your subconscious processes, going back to Jung psychology, you're supposed to be learning how to get back into doing all of that. So most people are in a state of atrophy where they have these abilities or these perceptual lanes that they do not get into. They're shut down, they're dormant. So that's what you are waking up as you are expanding your attention span and your capacity for perception. This is what Lucy does in the movie. Because people like to focus on the powers. It's like, well, let's focus on, well, how do we get there? Well, like, what is the principles that you need to, going back to the Jadakiss chamber, what principles do you need to align yourself with to be able to go in that route? First of all, knowing that you are going backwards through your own development, because it's just like when you face death. There's so many reports about these near-death experiences where you go backwards in time through all the experiences you had as you were here in the physical. So it's like your life flashing before your eyes backwards. That's exactly what Lucy is doing in the movie. And just the name Lucy has, like, there's multiple meanings to the name Lucy as well. What they first try to sit here and say is that, towards the end of the movie, Lucy, the white woman, she goes backwards through her own family tree or her ancestral tree back into this, the Lucy that they found in Africa. And she touches fingers with the, what I'm saying, this ape-looking creature that's supposed to be her ancestor. And that's fitting. Because some people ancestor might be that. It ain't my ancestor. It's Lucy's ancestor. It ain't mine. Do I look like I descend from whatever that was that she was touching fingers with in the movie? No. It may be Lucy's ancestor and their people's ancestor. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta get into, any the cave thing. We ain't gotta get into that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to type it up and submit it as a comment, but I ain't gotta say nothing like that. That was her ancestor, and I respect that, she was able to do that. But for us, we would be doing something similar. It would be similar to that. Because you're going backwards through your own family tree. So if you're talking about on a physical level, you are an amalgamation of all these different genetic sets. Because I give half of my genetic set, and the other woman gives her half through her gamete, her egg cell, my sperm cell, and then now the child has half of me and half of her. So you keep going back through that tree. That's what she was doing. She's going backwards in time. That's very important to this whole thing of Sankofa. You're going backwards. You have the Sankofa bird where it's looking back and it's eating the egg or has the egg in its mouth. What do you think is going on with that? It's a perfect embodiment of what we do as far as initiation is concerned. You're going back to the egg or you're going back to the womb. You know that as a mammal or as a mammalian creature like a human, We don't really have eggs, we have the womb. So the womb and the egg are like this, son. And then the fact that your mother gives the egg cell or that gamete, come on, this is all in the same route. You're going back to that to then go forward again. Hold on, what else in this movie I gotta touch on? Oh yeah, going back to Lucy. So the name Lucy again, obviously you can make a connection to Lucifer or Luciferianism, which I'm thinking that they're also using that the word it is or the title of the movie to also kind of touch on that. Where in Luciferianism is basically you going through apotheosis and trying to be self deified through the process. So you can there and I put this in my book as well, where you're dealing with two lanes when it deals with trying to develop yourself. You can either go through the crucis route or the lucis route. So via lucis and via crucis. Via crucis is you doing all the things that they say Jesus did in order to go to heaven, like you did all the devotion, the prayer, the cleaning of the feet, you know what I'm saying, everything a Christian is supposed to do, you know what I mean. That's via crucis. Via lucis is you going through the whole thing of dealing with esoteric knowledge and these things being revealed to you, and you become deified in that way. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, she's going the route of via lucis in a artificial manner. Again, she's dealing with a chemical that was synthesized in a lab somewhere, based on it being naturally produced within the mother's womb when she's carrying the fetus or the child. And then obviously elucidation, right? Because I already talked about, expanding your attention span and your perceptual capacity. That's you becoming more lucid, just like in your dreams, lucid dreaming, lucid. So she's becoming more and more lucid, going in that theme of, oh, she's expanding her ability to use more than 10% of her brain capacity. So there's truth to that. It's just that it should not be just centered in the brain. You're beyond your brain. Your brain is a physical thing. It's a physical organ. You're beyond it and your truest identity. So instead of using 10% of your brain, you're going beyond 10% of your consciousness. So if you put all five of your regular senses, your sight, your hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, that would be the 10% of you using your consciousness. So obviously there's a whole other 90% that you can expand into and explore. So she's coming more lucid as the movie progresses. Yeah, I touched on that. She can hear things that you wouldn't be able to hear just if it's blocked off, if it's in dormant. What do you mean we're forgetting things? I haven't even gotten to the end of the video. You said I'm forgetting something. I'm gonna stop reading certain comments. Let's just put it like that, because y'all you throwing me off with that. Now, anyway, keep going. Um, one thing I also wanted to touch on is the fact that she gives all this knowledge that she acquires while going through this process and creates a flash drive to give to Morgan Freeman, because he's the other part of this movie where he's the one explaining the whole 10% of the brain thing throughout the movie. He's this professor at this school or college or whatever, and he's like the leading scientist on um being able to expand the mind and go into higher levels of consciousness. So she actually reaches out to him to tell him that you're on it, my friend, but here's what it actually is. Because people can be on the route, but they haven't gotten to the destination yet. So she gives, him and the scientists by the end of the movie a flash drive of everything she has experienced and learned, what I'm saying, for them to then study and then, I guess, develop things from that understanding. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call experiential learning. That's what you call firsthand experience. So instead of going out into the field and trying to do all these empirical experiments, she's the one who actually went through it and documented it. So it's almost as if she's giving them her autobiography. She's giving them, her autobiography for them to study and to be able to pick apart, dissect, learn about the world, learn about existence, the universe. You know what I'm saying? In a way of like passing the torch. You know what I mean? She's already used the torch. Now, okay, let's see what they can do with the torch now that I don't need it anymore. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, she turns into what, the subtitle of this video, she's a white woman that turns black. And it's interesting because, Scarlett Johansson is the Black Widow in the MCU, and she turns black in this movie. And this movie came out in 2014? So she had already been the Black Widow in Iron Man 2 and in Avengers, right? And whatever other movie she was in. So she was already in Hollywood as the Black Widow and then turns into a black woman while in this movie Lucy. Do you see how that works? Do you see how that like comes together as whatever it's supposed to come together as? Pardon me, Luce. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say here. I might some tea, moringa tea. I hope you like it. Can you smell it through the camera? But I don't like how the film kind of, gets into the drug thing because it kind of promotes drug use. And like someone was saying in here, the Lux Hour is saying that, you can have fentanyl on these drugs you're getting from people. Like you just go and consume things and not know where it really kind of comes from or what they've been doing to it without any type of regulation or whatever. I mean, you can say that about anything you buy from the store, honestly, but in that situation where you got motherfuckers that's not really, professional like that, and it's sketchy, it's nefarious, it's back alley type of thing. You know what I mean? You got that going on, and you're just going to put it in your body because you want to live free and have thrills or whatever, thrills and spills or whatever. Better be careful out here. Pardon yourself, Luce. Said getting burned or damaged or exposed to light and repairing and being able to make the journey. Yeah, so it's like I said, she's going towards the death route. She's taking the death route in the movie. But what are you dying to? It's not her dying completely, it's what she's dying to. You're dying to your humanity. Obviously, you're dying to that limited perceptual capacity of your ego. That's what has to be laid in the ground. And obviously she does that. And then she does some real, some trill shit by keeping one of the cops around her. He's supposed to be her boyfriend, but he's really a reminder of what she used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that you stop being human. The human is always a part of what you are. It's a fraction of what you are. It's not the whole of what you are. So that's what needs to be shifted. You're dealing with a population of humans who just think that they're just human. It's like, no, your human experience is just a sliver or a fraction of your entire identity. Just like your body is not your complete identity. It's only part of your identity. It's only a fraction of your identity. So you take that fraction and try to make it the whole of things. That's where you tripped over your own feet. But that's how people are socially engineered here. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have a whole field of science and psychology and all these different institutions that keep you in that parameter. So when you go through, initiation or get into any of these occult subjects, it's about you breaking out of that parameter because you are beyond it. You know what I'm saying? So you're breaking out of that mental framework of you just being within that parameter. You said how you pass the light. What do you mean pass the light? You mean when she passed the flash drive is what he was explaining Yeah, he was also talking about immortality and reproduction. So that's another thing in the movie. A creature can do one of two things to share itself. You can either go the route of immortality or you can go through the route of reproduction. Because in both ways, you are continuing yourself in some way. So if I, what I'm saying, me and this woman copulated and I impregnated her, that's a way of our legacy continuing through that baby or that child. That's a form of immortality because my at least half of what my genetics and half of her genetics are going to survive through that child. So that's a form of immortality, but you can go another route by being able to get into this process of initiation and get into who you truly are, which is not some finite entity. You're infinite. She becomes existence by the time that the film is over. She becomes everything. She says it. It's even, hold on, let me look at this synopsis. She says, I am everywhere. Life was given to us a billion years ago. Now you know what to do with it. So she's now everywhere and nowhere at once. She's not limited to the physical, what I'm saying, parameters here. She's beyond it. As she always was, as I always was, as you have always met. Says she plays life and death, humanity can't enter the kingdom. Yeah, so that's basically what they were showing in this movie, yet it's done in an artificial way. And what I also thought about this was, you have a lot of these billionaires or millionaires where they spend dollars and money thinking that they're going to be immortal in their own body. It's like, I think you misinterpreted something with all them billions of dollars and you still don't know nothing. Money is overrated. Get your paper, but it's definitely overrated. Because you think that someone with that level of wealth and power would be smarter or more advanced in esoteric. No, no, no. Obviously not. The dumb thing is you thinking that you're going to be immortalized within your own flesh, which is programmed to disintegrate, what I'm saying, going into age 50. Come on now, what are we doing here? Now you see the movies where they, like another movie that came out in 2014, similar movie with Johnny Depp. Oh, and it also had this Morgan Freeman old ass in there. What's it called? Transcendence. So that's like a sister movie to me where they put the same movie out in the same year and used the same major actor, Morgan Freeman, in both movies. So obviously they were using these two movies as a form of propaganda for that time of 2014. You gotta start paying attention to that. Well, let me type that up. So in that movie, Johnny Depp is this scientist, him and his wife, and they're trying to upload consciousness into the computer. So, by the end of the movie, he becomes this like computerized Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? And then he dies, he physically dies, but using, him being uploaded into the consciousness of the internet or just, electricity or whatever the fuck, he then is able to recreate his physical body. Again, that's a part of our science, but he does it artificially. So again, is you watch Lucy and then watch Transcendence. Watch Lucy and then watch Transcendence, and you'll see exactly what they were trying to do in the year 2014. So you got, I mean, that can also kind of be like this artificial form of, immortality. Like you upload your consciousness as a data file, and then you can transfer that data file into a robot or some sort of android or some sort of computer or whatever device you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You can go that route, but again, that's only an artificial thing or artificial creation of what we do naturally. Now, the thing about artificial technology is that it's not as expansive and as thorough as the natural real thing. So there's going to be pitfalls and shortcomings with that technology because you're dealing with people who don't really have the complete understanding of the things they create. That's why their creations are always turning on them or going array or awry or going, uh, completely left. You know what I'm saying? It blows up in their fucking face. Okay, you're talking about melanin being programmable, right? That's what you're saying. But I think some of y'all don't really understand what melanin actually is. It's beyond your skin, it's beyond the physical. I mean, you're putting melanin as something that was originally named for something in your skin, but the idea of what, is trying to reach, I wouldn't use that word. You know what I'm saying? You can use it. You can have it, and that can be your paradigm. But understand that your paradigm is not the only one. Let's pardon me, loose. Make sure we understand that. You know what I mean? Because people think that their paradigm is the only one. It's like, nah, you have a lot of lateral paradigms that are just as legit as yours. So really, you're going back into religion where it's like, oh, because I'm Baptist, I'm a better Christian than you because you're Protestant. That's what it is all over again. Try not to fall into that pitfall, loose. Don't fall into that. Stay away from that if you want to, take my advice on that. But she turns black by the end of the movie. Yeah, she becomes a black thing. You know what I mean? Because instead of using melanin, I don't use that term because again, they originally used that for something in your physical skin. Use a more appropriate term like Kim or Kam or prima materia. Like these are words I would use over melanin for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Because alchemy is dealing with that substance that creates every other thing that can be considered a thing or a quality or an abstract. So alchemy is about you being able to use this substance and create whatever the fuck you want to create. What if I don't like any religions here? I can create my own religion, my own paradigm, my own reality. If I know how to use chem, it's just like being able to master the elements as a chemist and create any type of concoction that you can then sell to people, what I'm saying, at any supermarket or, what I'm saying. It's all made up, fam. People don't like when I say it's this shit is all made up because they want to believe in the authority that told them what they should be into. And I'm like, well, if I don't believe in your authority over things, I don't have to listen to any fucking thing you're talking about. I can challenge your authority. So anybody sitting here talking about melanin, I can challenge your authority on melanin. I don't have to go by that paradigm of things, especially when there's other ones that are more fitting and more accurate to the existence that I live. I don't have to go by that. I mean, white people have melanin. Like, what do you mean? People don't like hearing that either. It's like, yeah, they do. How could they survive without it in this reality? They may not have it as dark or as much as you do, but they still got it. Y'all gotta stop letting these paradigms control how you think out here. These group thinks. Expand. You see, Lucy, she expanded it beyond the human paradigm. You can do it too. Stop being so religious. Or be religious. It's all up to you. It's preferential. You know how I say it, baby. Your preference, your choice. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, getting back to her turning to a black thing, you know what I'm saying? The Black Widow finally becomes black. See, this is a pattern in films where they deify these people in these films. Like, for example, if you watch Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, what's her name? Kate Blanchett. She plays the villain in the movie, but she doesn't really get defeated by the end. Why? Because she's deified by the end. The alien, she becomes one of them. She transcends her physical composition and becomes, part of the light. That's them doing a deification ritual on film. Whereas when they deal with people of our, culture or skin tone, they do the exact opposite. They de-deify us or take us off that pedestal sometimes. Like in the show Watchmen, where he only do it briefly, but the guy that plays Dr. Manhattan, the black dude, he is given this ring that he places into his forehead, and it turns all off his power, and he becomes a regular dude. So there's a scene in that show, spoiler alert, loose, where Regina King beats his ass with a hammer to take the ring out of his forehead, and then he becomes the blue guy again, the Dr. Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? They also do it in the movie Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where Raiden, sacrifices his powers and he becomes human again. He even get a new fucking haircut. You know what I'm saying? Trying a new look. You know what I mean? He does that. By the end of the movie, he becomes even greater than he was before. He becomes an elder god. So for them, again, they be deifying their people. You know what I'm saying? They get deified, but for us, we get, defamed and, emasculated in the movie. You know how they shoot you in the ass with a gun, or you got to play a homosexual character, or, you know what I'm saying, some sort of emasculation on film. That's what they're doing out here. They're using the film as ritual. You know what I mean? You already know this. What's another movie where they're deifying somebody? What's another one? Help me out in the comments. Y'all have putting all these comments. Help me out in the comments. What's a movie where the character or someone in the movie is deified, like they're turned into God or some sort of higher entity? The movie Blade with Deacon Frost. He does that ritual of the 12. You know what I'm saying? Zodiacal references throughout. So he gets the 12 elders of the vampire world and he sacrifices them, and then these spirits enter his body and he becomes La Magra, the blood god. He's deified. But then they use that same type of blue substance, just like in Lucy. Blade hits him with this blue substance and it blows him the fuck up. So it's something about that blue shit. You know what I'm saying? That blue shit has some sort of significance. Even you have a whole planet in Pandora for Avatar where all the cat people have, blue. Apocalypse, blue. You know what I mean? This blue thing. I even had a post about this a couple years ago where I'm showing you in each of these movies where the character is either blue in skin or they're wearing blue. You know what I'm saying? Thanos is wearing blue in the movie. Killmonger is wearing blue in the movie. So it's something about that blue. That's, that's supposed to be shut down. Even in the first Watchmen movie back in 2009, blue. And they even tell you at the end of that movie that, they're going to blame all the crimes that has happened in the world on the blue people or on the blue guy. So something about that blue, you know what I mean? But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, she becomes black again, or she just becomes, not again, but she becomes black. You see her traveling throughout the eras of time, all the way going to the boundaries of the universe. So it's not even her going to, going outside of the earth in a physical sense. She's going outside of earth in a esoteric or mental sense. Because what if I told you all that blackness that you see or out in outer space, what they call it outer space, is really what all this shit is down here? It's just that you are only seeing a part of its spectrum. You're only seeing the VSL part of the spectrum of it. So it goes back into you only having 5 senses, and you actually can go beyond those 5 senses and see the spectrum of everything. So not only does this have a color to it, it also has a heat signature. It has a radio signature that you're not picking up on. You're not paying attention to. So once you expand into that level of your consciousness, you'll be able to know its heat signature. You'll be able to know its radio signature. It's just like the sun. The whole thing about the black body being able to absorb and emit any part of the spectrum. She becomes that black body by the end of the film. Yes. That's what she becomes. That's what the significance of the black body is. It's something that they study in their science. It's called black body radiation. But the significance or the principle behind it, again, teaching you niggas principles, is the fact that she can absorb, emit, and operate on any level of the electromagnetic spectrum. And you know that they use the spectrum as a map of what all exists and what level does it exist. So as a regular human, you are mostly operating on that visible light spectrum or visible spectrum of light, that little sliver. If you ever seen the electromagnetic spectrum, the only part that most humans deal with is that small part somewhere in the middle. But you have infrared, you have UV, you have microwaves, you have X-ray. You know what I'm saying? You have radio waves, you have gamma, and maybe even beyond that. The black body encompasses the whole thing. She becomes that at the end of the movie. This is where the shit becomes, they're not really dealing with the propaganda anymore. They're giving you the shit straight up from the back, like straight up. You know what I mean? He said he was Alex Fox in the. No, you mean Lucius Fox. I don't know why you put my name in there. Yeah, you talking about Morgan Freeman. He was Lucius Fox, and also he was God in the movie Bruce Almighty. That's right. And he is playing out the Jesus Lucifer aspect as God. Of course, yes. But like I said, Lucy, like I said, she goes through this artificial process of becoming that black body, which some of y'all like to call melanin. But again, I don't like using that term because it's not really getting into what it actually is. It's like I wouldn't say it's a misnomer. It's like I'll call it a nickname. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Dark Light Consciousness. Are you talking about the book by Edward Bruce Bynum? I think that's what you're talking about. And then they got the nerve to be so bold as to say life was given to us a billion years ago. Now you know what to do with it. So again, this is Luc Besson or whoever's supposed to be in charge of this movie telling you how you should be developing by saying that you should have this blue stuff in your body, this artificial blue shit. So again, it's propaganda because if you're dumb enough to sit here and say, well, I want some of that blue stuff, and it could just be some fentanyl. That's how you kill people. That's how you mass murder people. That's how you do it. You put it in a movie, you get them on that route, on that train, and then route that motherfucker right into the station where you selling blue stuff. Who knows what the blue stuff is doing? We don't know that. Your head can explode as soon as you put it on your body. But because they made it look like you're going to become what she is by the end of the movie by drinking this stuff or having this stuff in your body, you took your ass down there and did it. That's what you be doing. I don't be doing nothing like that. Because you got to understand what they're drawing the inspiration of this is from. They're mixing lies with truth in this movie, as they do in any of these movies. And that's why, people like me, we go through the decoding of it, you know what I'm saying? Or decrypting or being able to review it. But yeah, just in a nutshell, this is the process. Like you're going backwards through your own development. It's almost it's saying that you being human was kind of like you went the wrong route in your development. Now, not wrong is the saying that you wasn't supposed to do it, but it wasn't. You gotta trace back. You gotta look back. It's even with even in the Kemet thing with the Kepler beetle. Like when it's rolling that ball of dung backwards, or it's backwards, but it's moving forward at the same time. That concept. Just like the caterpillar, it came out of an egg, eats leaves, grass, and fruits or whatever. Then it goes back into an egg state, cocoon, and then it becomes a butterfly out of that. That's why the butterfly has that significance over a lot of different insects, is because it goes back into an egg stage. So it's almost as if, it comes out of its own, first egg just to get all what it needs for it to go back into the egg. You see what I mean? Like all the whatever nutrients or whatever things it's supposed to consume so that it can be, used for it to be transformed into that butterfly while in the chrysalis stage. And also this thing about Big Bang, she's able to go all the way back to the beginning of time and witness the Big Bang. Well, if there's a Big Bang, there also has to be a big crunch, right? Boom, explode, implode, explode, implode, bang, crunch. It's like breathing. Is it not like respiration? Are we getting to esoteric stuff, Luce? Pardon me, Luce. We might be a little bit more occultic and esoteric. You know what I'm saying? Is that not like your respiration? Implode, explode, implode, explode. Your whole existence is about breath, and you ain't even know it. You disgust me, Luce. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. If there's a big bang, there's a big crunch. But not even just on some, astronomy level. We talking about this on a principle level. You exploding and imploding. You inhaling and exhaling. You know what I'm saying? That's the rhythm of this whole existence. It's yin, then it's yang. It's yin and it's yang, but it's all one at the same time. It's all circular. It's all cycling. You know what I'm saying? They give you all this big bang stuff, but they don't talk about the crunch. You know what I mean? In and out. And is breath work a part of what we do? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Different levels of it. Because I see people online doing that. They do that, and it's like, well, again, there has to be other things involved in what you're doing with that. It's only a piece. It's not the whole thing. So even with the breatharians, which I was talking about in a video about, symbolic dieting, it's like, that's part of it. It's not the whole thing that you're supposed to do. I mean, it's part of it. And you can kind of look at a lot of these religions as just being part of a whole. They take pieces and create a whole religion off of it. You got to take those pieces and put them back together. Again, I said this earlier when I was talking about my book. Learn to start putting the pieces together. You know what I'm saying? Say also call it that six, that nine, 6 times 3, 18, 8, or 8 + 1 = 9. Yeah. Yep. So you get into the numericals, the semiotic value of the numbers. Yes. That's another way of looking at it. So you got a lot of people who don't know how to give birth into themselves again. They don't they it's in you innately to do it. But knowing how to do it and not fucking up the process is a whole nother thing. It's just like how I keep saying, and I'm gonna keep trying to tattoo it into your mind that everybody caterpillar can be a caterpillar, but every caterpillar ain't gonna go to the butterfly stage for whatever reason. It's just like the acorn that falls off the oak tree. Not every acorn is going to become a tree. You're going to be eaten by a squirrel or something. It's the same concept with us. Every human is not going to go through that process to becoming whatever the next level of what we are to be. But you can have magical caterpillars, right? You can have magical acorns too. So I see a lot of magical caterpillars out here. They think they butterflies, but they're not. They only have the potential, which has not been tapped into, has not been explored, it has not been jump started. Has it been prepared for or nothing? You know what I'm saying? Just you think you're just going to dive into that and everything going to be cool? It's a term that we use called questia. It's a lot of questia out here where, a lot of foolish endeavors into this whole mystical occult thing. You know what I mean? A lot of foolishness going on. But again, it's all preferential too. Some people like foolishness. That's how you get down. You know what I mean? That's how you get down, Loose. You like that foolish stuff, don't you, Loose? Makes you laugh and makes you it tickles the bottom of your feet. You like that, Loose. But I do see the arrogance of this film. Again, it's them thinking that this whole 10% of the brain thing is the real deal about what it's supposed to be. It's like, nah, this shit is your consciousness is beyond your flesh, as always is. There was a study by what was her name? Valerie Hunt before she died, UCLA. You know what I'm saying? I've did studies on that. It's like where she did the research and the few, all the sciences that she was dealing with, where they proved that consciousness is not centered in the brain. It's non-local. That means it really doesn't have a physical place. Yes, it can situate itself in your brain and the rest of your body, but it's not. That's not its true. It's non-local. It's beyond geographical dimension. You know what I'm saying? It has no physical origin. So that means you as a consciousness, you are actually everywhere and nowhere at once. You just have to realize it, fella, sweetheart. That's what Lucy did. Why can't you do it? Lucy did it. Why can't you little bloke? Pardon me, Luce. And like I said, it's a way to like kind of take you away from the natural way of doing things. Like it's them presenting a artificial way of doing it, so that you don't get into the actual way of doing it. It's like a deterrent. You know what I'm saying? It's like putting all these celebrities out here in your face, and you want to be a star. When no, you're not. It's not. The plan wasn't for you to be a celebrity as a star. You're supposed to be what you see in the sky, or it's something on that level. So what type of star do you want to be? You want to be out here in Hollywood with your booty up? You know what I'm saying? Getting your back blown out for $1 million, or do you want to be the type of star that transcends space and time? So they give humanity a deterrent. They know they're supposed to be stars on a very unconscious level, but it's like they're giving expression of it by dealing with what you call a star or celebrity. So it's a way of deterring you from what you're actually out here trying to do or what you are programmed to do. You're programmed to be that star. You know what I'm saying? It's like giving you all like giving little kids a little candy. You want a little candy? No, that's artificial. Candy is based on fruits and berries. That's where the concept comes from. It's nothing but an artificial berry. That's what a piece of fucking Starburst or fucking jelly bean is. It's nothing but a berry artificially made for you. So they'll give you the artificial to keep you away from the natural. That's what I'm trying to say. Say you didn't know that dude. What dude are you talking about? Anyway, let me wrap this up by like I said, I like the movie as far as it's being able to like show people that level of regenetic development and showing them that yeah, you're supposed to go. This is the initiation, and in case you don't know what it actually is dealing with. Now, ask yourself: have you gone through a process like hers? Did you go backwards all the way in time, all the way back to your beginning? Do you even know how you got here? Do you know why you exist and the purpose of which you exist for? I see a lot of faking and fronting out here. Like I said, I ain't hating. I'm just saying you need for your own safety, you need to be aware of people that are out here, doing all this shit just for money, clout, and attention. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of fly shit that she do in this film, but where do you begin? You have to begin at the point of regenesis. You need to go backwards. I already mentioned NDE, you know what I'm saying? Your near death experiences where people report that, again, their life flashes before their eyes and they go backwards throughout their own life, their own physical life, possibly even dealing with lives beyond the life they live. Like if you want to start dealing with reincarnation and past lives and shit like that. But yes, Lucy gives birth, you know what I'm saying? She gives birth to that self, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's what she does. Now, this being some sort of chakra movie, I mean, if you want to look for colors and whatever type of themat or themes that you get with each chakra, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But let's not deny the fact that yes, this is the way this is the true initiation. It has nothing to do with culture because this is they obviously use a white woman. You know what I'm saying? How many of them are actually going through this process for real? You know what I mean? Let's keep it 1 buck and 100. You know what I mean? Pardon me, loose. Not being, racist or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, this is a fictional film, but how many people are actually going through this rebirth process? It's not no walk in the park. It's not you just gonna, take a couple drugs or, what I'm saying, listen to some YouTube videos and thinking that, you're you're there. It's like, nah, this is a very powerful fucking event, you know what I'm saying, that goes on. Like remembering things from your childhood, like that stuff coming back to mind, like that stuff happens to her this like or moments after she takes that blue stuff licks into her system. Like when she calls her mom up and says, I remember you did this and you did that, and then her mom's like, how could you remember that, Lucy? You were only like 2 years old. You remember all that? And how she's able to touch her friend in that one scene, and she just by I don't even think she touches her, but I think she hugs her or something like that, and she's able to know exactly what sicknesses her friend is actually going through. And she says, "I think you need to lay or take a break on whatever the fuck you eating or whatever you're doing, so that you don't develop this sickness that is going throughout your body." But we can do that on certain levels. It's just, some people can even do it to that level as well. They have that gift, you know what I mean? But this is also something you can develop. You know what I'm saying? I could develop it, you could develop it. But that's what part of initiation is also realizing you're non-local, you're beyond space-time, and you was never anywhere, nowhere, unless you want to look at it on a physical level. So again, my name is Achad. I'm coming out with this here. Holography is right on the screen. Holographer.com/the book. We deal with the whole thing. This is an alchemical work. You know what I'm saying? Had to be done. Didn't see nobody else doing it. So that was my go ahead or my green light to actually do it myself. And I hopefully that if there's something you need to say or something that you came up with that you don't see nobody else talking about, that's your green light to write something or to make something of this, caliber nature. So again, catch me on the flip. And pardon me, Luce, didn't mean to offend you in making of this video. Cheerio. Horrible English British accent, and it's a French director. It's crazy. I don't know why I was even doing it like that.